Rogers and this is the pet Bichon that I'm going to now do. This is Maddie. She's had puppies about 14-15 weeks ago, and as you can see her coat obviously is quite open and sort of quite sparse with obviously feeding the puppies. Also it is coming back nice and thick due to the food that she's getting fed. But as you can see, her tail hair is quite broken from puppies playing, and also like her hock hair and like her legs, where it's all very bitty and broken. These are from like the puppies grabbing and breaking the hair. Because with bitches that have been whelping puppies, obviously all the nutrients is going to the puppies to make them healthy. So it's quite a difficult coat to manage. So I'm going to show you how we would do sort of a pet trim on her, and then obviously explain how she could gradually get back to her shape. So rather than scissor her back, I'm going to use comb attachments to help block the shape out and get some of the shape, just to make it a bit faster and a bit quicker for your day-to-day salon use. So the comb attachment I'm going to use is the yellow comb attachment. This is a wall comb attachment which is fitted on the wall clipper. Okay. I've also turned it to a 30 blade. You can either do it from 15, 10 or 30 just to sort of get the coat off. Make sure again, just like with the show dog, that the preparation is done really well, so it's all completely separated. There's no kinks, no curls left in the coat, and no little fairies. They're them little tiny bits of hair that get left in, and then obviously they mat up. You will get a lot of that on this coat because obviously the coat is changing texture due to obviously the sort of nutrients being lost and now coming back too. From obviously the puppies leaving her. So again, the lines are the same. We're going from the neck down to the leg. Obviously she's got less hair here and it's more sparse, so I'm going to have to be careful with that. When I come to clip, I am also going to be leaving it a lot longer here and a lot wider here than some breeds. So we're going to take where the ribs are, because again I need this tuck up hair. So we're going to do my top line first. And then I'm going to come round to the leg. I'm going to then get my neck out. Again, I'm keeping the shape, the same shape on the pet dog as on the show dog, okay? The only difference is I'm taking it shorter. Shouldn't be any difference. Ideally in the salon, all my salon dogs, I scissor. I do scissor all my pet salon dogs, just because I find it quicker than using comb attachments. And if you're wanting to gain more confidence with your scissoring, the only way you can do is not using comb attachments and also using scissors. But when you're quick or you're not sure about your shape, these are brilliant. You can block your shape out. Also take it a bit shorter to help thicken this dog's coat up, and that's why I'm using the comb attachment today. But I will scissor over it after to keep the texture of the coat, because it will change the texture otherwise. So you can see my lines. Because it's quite an open coat, you will have to go over a couple of times with the comb attachment, mainly because otherwise you're going to end up it very untidy and neat, because this coat is very hard to manage and very hard to scissor. So even if you were scissoring it, you'd have to go over it a couple of times. You know, Bichon's coats change due to weather and due to environmental conditions. So by knowing how to deal with a difficult coat is also really good, because you can also advise your customers. Okay, so I've got my block out. As you can see, it's not picking it up very well on the ribs. So I'm just going to go back over that. Again, I want to leave this hair here So if you're wondering why that's left, I'm going to scissor that in. Okay. I'm going to do the other side. So I'm just going to flick it up, my shape. And because the coat's quite open, with it being obviously a condition, I'm going to just spray a bit of scissor spray in to help me hold the coat to scissor. And this will help me keep the coat in place so I can get a good finish. I'm just going to blend. Because the coat is open, it's really easy to get lines in it. So I've gone with my workhorse scissors, and now I'm going to go with a really finer. So I'm going to go with a slightly finer scissor, one with more of a flatter edge. Okay, that's better. I'm getting a better finish. If you feel when you're scissoring it, it's making it a bit lines or a bit clumpy, sometimes if you change the scissor to like a finer set or one that glides through a bit better, it can make a difference. And it can change from Bichon to Bichon. It doesn't have to be breed to breed, because you will get different sort of textures in different times of year. Sort of bitches don't always have as thicker coats than dogs if they're coming in and out of season, things like that. Got the body in, just going to do the top line a bit better. Caesar, Caesar. This is quite important there to neaten it in. I'm trying to get my shape a bit more. Okay, now I'm going to do the other side. Just a little bit more up there. That's it. Go around to do the other side, yep. Just change to my curves to blend it in to help get the shape. Just bringing down the top of the back end to balance in with the top line. And as you can see, I've got my line again from there down. Just going to get more spray because it's not holding naturally. When I scissor, if I put my scissors into the coat, it's going to flop it. Okay, so I want to scissor the edge. If you just scissor the edge with a coat like this that's very fine, you will get the shape. You've got to imagine if you go in and taking it like this, you're going to end up getting wedges in. So if you just take it lightly, every sort of little bit, you're not going to flatten the hair when you've got a coat with this sort of texture. Right, you'll need to take the bum again. Oh, hold on. Stand. And the bum bone. Because like with all this, where as you can see it's like see-through here, okay, if you go in with the scissors too much, then it's going to flatten it. So by taking it and just taking the edges at a time, you'll actually build it up and make the coat look thicker. Because this is another thing what a lot of people do, especially on pet ones, is because they haven't got the depth of the coat like what the show dog had, is they keep taking more and more and more, and sometimes less is more. By taking a little bit, getting your shape and graduating it, you can actually make that hair look a lot thicker. Take this bum round. Good girl. And as you see, she hasn't got any hock hair. Good girl. Good girl. Just blend this in. Obviously, because she just had puppies, I want to be really careful not to catch any of her teats. She's got no hair under here really, because we clipped it before when she had the puppies, so it's growing back. And you get the little clippers. I'm going to do it under the pads again, just the same as the show dog. Keep so. Under the feet. I'm just going to check around her anal area. Keep still, good girl. She's a bit more fidgety than he is. Obviously she's had a lot going on around that area recently. Good girl. Come on. Good girl. Just going to neaten up her belly. This was already cleaned out. As you can see, she's gone nice and tight back up since the puppies. If you notice any redness or sore like this around this area from a bitch that's just recently had puppies again, make sure you see the vet. So come down, get my feet scissors. Pull down. Again with the pet one, she hasn't got much hair, but we have to take them a bit short because the owners can't keep up with them. The problem is when you do take them short, you're going to lose the shape. So leave a bit more hair here to flare and here until you've got your foot. Again, this hasn't got much coat because of the puppies. So your pet ones probably will grow more hair than what she has. Where it dips in, where the dog's leg dips in, is where your shortest bit is. So that's there. That's how you know where you're going to get your curve. When I'm scissoring the back leg, I want to do this side first, so do side 1, which is going down into the leg. Then we do the inside leg, 2. Then I'm wanting to do in front of the leg. Coming down. Now this now needs to blend into 1 and 2 sides. And the last part that you want to do is your hock. So you come in, getting your shape. Obviously you're going to lose some of this shape because you're taking the leg shorter for a pet trim. But the most important thing is that your bum up here balances with the hock down here. Okay, so even if it's a pet trim, this hock here should also balance with the bum. So by feeling with the bum, knowing how short you need to take the bum, the hock needs to balance too. And by not taking the tuck up too short. Okay, now we're going to go on to the front leg. Just going to neaten this rib cage around slightly. Because it's a very open coat, it is going to be very bitty. You're not going to get the finish as you are on a very plush dog. This coat wouldn't be suitable for a grooming competition. You would have to develop it a lot more. It'll grow too, but not how it is at the minute. So the foot, we're going to start again the same. Is the wall clipper under the pads. These are really nice and small, so when you've got a small bichon like this, they fit in a lot easier. Get it all out. They're really easy and comfy to use in your hand as well. Make it a lot easier than using the big clipper blades that we were all used to using. So I'm going to flick out, I'm going to spray to hold the coat so I can scissor, and I'm going again with the finer scissor because this leg hair again is quite open and quite fine, and because it's quite open and fine, if I went and put my scissors right into the coat or used like a workhorse scissor that was a bit firmer, it would flatten it more. So I'm just going to comb down the foot again, cup the foot with my feet scissors, trim it around with my foot scissor. Like so. Trim around the foot. Again, you don't want it to be too pincy, but again, she hasn't got much coat on this dog. Because we're taking the legs quite short, you don't want her to look like too sort of terry. This is down to the toe, so I know where I'm going to. Then we're going to do the inside leg, so we've done 1, I'm going to do 2. And the foot down. And the third one is the front of the foot. And I like to use my curved scissors the other way. And I'm blending that in with 1 and 2. Good girl, good girl. No, Maddie, stop it. Maddie, Maddie. Good girl. Stop leaning forward. Stop leaning forward. Good girl. It's really important that you get your dog to stand correctly. She's trying to lean forward to go off the table. As you can see, she's pushing in. So you need to make sure she's stacked correctly. She's got less patience than he has at the minute. She hasn't been shown for a bit. And we'll leave more hair on the back. As you can see, it's broken off slightly as well. So again, I'm going to go straight down to the foot. Her elbow's here. I'm wanting to sort of about 1/2 inch from her elbow, similar to, again, the show dog. Just blend it in round. As you can see, her coat's very, very flat and silky in this area. So I need to brush it backwards. Maddie, stand, relax. Good girl. It's better. Good girl. Right, so we're just lifting the other foot, just because she's not balancing it rightly. I want to try and have a look at the inside leg and try and get the shape right, because she's leaning, which is, you'll get a lot of pet dogs like this. She's really not behaving at the minute, are you? Good girl, I know. Caesar keeps making noises, doesn't he? Tell him he's had his turn. I'm just trying to get the inside leg just a bit neater. And trying to manipulate this coat to lay in the way it wants to. It's a lot harder to trim this coat when it's all fly away and open like this than a coat that'll just stay there. Because you're not going to get a finish quite the same, and one wrong move, if the dog moves, you can get a big hole in the coat a lot easier. You can see I'm moving all around my dog, trying to get the best angle with the light as well. I'm going to take this neck a bit more for the shoulder. Need to put that line in. Blend it in more. So we sort of did a bit with the comb attachment, but this is why I always find scissoring easier, because you can just put a little bit at a time, whereas when you put the comb attachments in, sometimes you can take it a bit too long or too short. So now I'm going to go my top line again, making sure it's nice and straight, and I'm going to come up. You can see her neck hair is broken from having the puppies, from the ragging around and things like this. Hock hair, neck hair, tail hair, all the areas that struggle and that you have issues with. They're always the last bits to grow when the puppies, and they're always the first bits to go if the dog's ill or old, or like her, she's just had puppies and nutrients has gone to feed them. So you can see like her coat in areas is a bit patchy. and you have to imagine the hair's there rather than cut it as short. If you cut it as short, then you're not actually going to keep your shape. You're going to lose your shape. And you're going to find it a lot harder. And take the neck down on the other side. So again, from behind, I want it in the same curves, nice and curve here, comes a curve here and then a curve up here. So a bit like an hourglassy type. I always like to think. Okay, right, we're going to go finish the other side. Before I do, because it's so flat, I don't want this side getting squashed. So I'm going to spray some scissor spray in, or you can actually put some thickening spray. Again, this is what you would do on competition or pet, not show dogs, because again you shouldn't be using. This will just hold that coat in to lay there till I get the other side done, so I can then balance it up. Okay, I've not put a lot in, so it's not going to mat the coat for the customer, but it'll help hold it so when the customer comes, it's still got the shape and the trim that I've already trimmed and left in there. So I'm going to turn around and do the other side. Trimming into my neck, make sure you're going from behind. Just make sure the ear is, I'm tipping it down and bringing the head in. Just got to be careful of the bald patches where the puppies have been playing. Just want to get a head in. By taking it more in and in, it's still going to have your funnel like the other dog, but you're taking it tighter in. You reduce all this matting that the customers can't deal with. So the other side again. As you can see, again we've got another hole. So we're going to spray a bit, tip her head down, making sure I know where her ear is. So I'm not following where the hole is. I'm trying to imagine that being full, okay? With the Bichons or any wool coat, if you've got bits like this missing, the key is to imagine the hair is there already. And you're blending it in. So, as you can see, the front of her face is really, really, really fine. So I have to be really careful when I'm coming to trim her head, because otherwise she could look very short. So I'm going to take the V out again. And comb down. Because she hasn't got any hair here and here, makes the ears look like they're sticking out, and they're not actually. It's just there's no hair there to hold and weigh everything down. So by taking her ear shorter and bringing her in, again, this is typical Bichon where they pull the ear backwards. Okay, and then you're trying to trim it, and now can you trim it because the ear's gone backwards? So get the dog's head, give it a shake, turn the ear, if need be, fold it over. See how it flicks up? Trim over, and then trim down. And you'll minimise it to a degree. They will always still they always go back and push their ears back. And you're always like, oh, why can't you just keep your head straight? So I'm just going to do the neck. This is one of my old show dogs. She will be put back out into the ring once her coat's back into condition. She did quite well as a puppy. And she's now matured a little way now, so we just need to work on this coat. So by ending this and getting the shape, we can get some coat back into the style it needs to be. But having it maintenance well for pet trim. Yeah, the main good advice to pet owners is, because Bichons suffer from a lot of staining, is obviously to feed a good grain-free diet, something that, you know, either fish base or not necessarily beef base. This will help, obviously, like with staining and things like that. Cleaning the eyes regularly. There's facial scrubs on the market these days that you can use that are really good for washing them and making sure they don't have sleep in their eyes, because then this obviously will build up and they'll get sore eyes or they'll get staining more. As well, with Bichons generally, they are a breed where they will take advantage, so it is very important to go to a professional groomers every 4 to 5 weeks. If you've got a dog with a thicker coat, then maybe more often, or if you can't maintain it in between with a good brush and a comb. Sometimes when you get puppies, over grooming them can split the hair and make it like this. So it is very important. This is a breed that can't really be groomed without going to a professional groomer, because of the maintenance. Unlike poodle coats, they can differ and sometimes need sort of help and guidance with the right shampoos or products to make it easier for the dog. They will go from one week being okay to suddenly being matted. So again, knowing how to brushing from the root outwards, shampooing them with the correct shampoo. The wall whitening shampoo is a really good product for these dogs. Sometimes if the coat is a bit dry, as you can see, like a head is a bit broken and dry at the minute, so by using that shampoo and adding just a tiny little bit of conditioner to the shampoo and adding it on a dry coat instead of wetting the coat first, will actually clean the dog better and also get it whiter. Keep still. You can see she's one head side of it's more broken than the other, so trying to again, you want the eyes in the centre of the head if possible. Obviously, if you're taking them short of a pet, sometimes it's not always possible. Do not separate, do not lift the ears up and separate and cut this as well, because you will lose your Bichon head. So combing the hair forward in front of the ear, not lifting it up, and blending it in to the ear is where you'll keep your round head. These dogs will need a lot of maintenance to keep them very plush and thick, but also they can be quite easy if you keep on top of them. They'll have certain times of year when the weather changes from summer to winter, and as a pet owner, these are the times that you'll need maybe to talk to your groom a bit more often, to maybe go a couple more times, or get some more advice on grooming if you're struggling, because from one day to the next they can just suddenly mat up. Just taking her neck down a bit more. check the other side. Good girl. Good girl. Kiss. Yeah. Come on, you can have one in a minute. Good girl. My face is the best I can do, I think. It's all a bit broken. So we're going in from the nose, we're going in to the corner of the eye. And then we're going to turn around and do from the other corner of the eye. We're then going to comb forward and bring it around. We've already done around the back of the head. And we want to come it around and up, bring the ears in, imagining that that hair that I need is there, because otherwise it's going to separate. Coming up and around, again imagining this hair here is filled, because again the puppies have pulled that off her. Coming around, bringing it from the corner of the ear, pulling out, not to separate the ears. It's very important not to lift the ear up. So the ear needs to stay into the head, and you comb in front of the ear, bring it out, and then you're blending it in around. So, and in and around the other way. So I'm going to go over now and make sure it's neat. She's got no bits loose hair off. If you're with the tail, it's really important not to cut the tail, because obviously, as you can see, the texture is different than it is on the body. This hair here has been damaged and been broken off from puppies ragging her around and playing. So you can see how this coat is different texture to this. So this will just have to wait to grow, but it will grow. She did have a lovely full tail, but obviously from the puppies. If you were going to do it for pet and the owner didn't want the tail long, the one way to trim it, don't flag the tail whatsoever, is one way to trim tail by swinging round, 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 right to the end. And if you have to, take the very end off. But again, it's advisable not to cut the tail, because if you did cut the tail, it'll just go thicker and thicker, longer, and the texture would change. Whereas if you leave it, it actually grows to just one length and then doesn't grow anymore. So by just explaining that to your customer, you know, the more they have a cut, the more they trim it on that tail, the more it'll grow. And then there we go. I think that's done. I'd just like to thank Linda Barker for allowing Caesar and Maddie to have a pro groomer here to do these grooming demonstrations for you. So thank you very much, Linda.